is about Papa John's Pizza. And it's everything that went wrong with Papa John's Pizza, which I was unaware that anything went quote-unquote wrong with Papa John's. I had not heard about anything that had gone sideways with this company, either from their pizza. Their pizza, it's always been a joke that their pizza is a joke. But I never heard anything bad that happened. Okay, Rydet, have a good night. So, yeah, I mean, Jameson, like, I had Papa John's Pizza, like, maybe once back when I was still living in the States. Bobcat, in due time. In due time. 2 ships New England crashed the last few days doing trading now up to 500 million flying a Type 10 for trade. A Type 10? Andrea, why are you flying a Type 10 for trading? Why? That doesn't make much sense. Why aren't you using a T9? Like, T9 is the trading ship. Type 10 is built for combat. Like the Type 10 is the Thargoid killing machine. So, okay, you meant to say the T9. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and the new meta has kind of become the Type 8 because the Type 8 has not as many cargo slots as the Type 9, but the Type 8 is far more maneuverable. It still has a very hefty amount of cargo slots, and it handles SCO like a dream. So, yeah, look into the T8 if you have the ARX to buy it. Yeah. Just think what happens if you can get 7 billion, get yourself a fleet carrier. Because I got like my fleet carrier, and I think I've got, is it 7 or, what is it? I got my fleet carrier, and I think 7 or 12 billion in reserve right now. I forget how much, I forget how many billion I have in reserve. 688 cargo, okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's good. Wait, 17 million per round trip. Honestly, Andrea, you might be better served looking at doing, if you're doing 17 million per round of cargo, you might want to look into doing Rubigo with a Python. Honestly. Rubigo with a Python would probably net you more than 17 million per round, because once you get your reputation up, you could easily be pulling in 20 to 25 million per round with once you get your reputation up in Rubigo. What are you talking about, Kanito? And good night, Retaxif. Kaibo. Alright. Let us take a look at what the story is with, yes, I have billions. I also have literally a year's worth of playing time in hours over the past 3 years. So, I worked for it. Alright. Let's see what went wrong with Papa John's.
In theory, owning a successful pizza chain should be easy. Step 1, you make the pizza. Step 2, you sell the pizza. Step 3, profit. But based on the meteoric rise and very public fall of Papa John's Pizza and the man behind it, it's apparently a lot easier.
Wait. Papa John's suing Papa John's. Schnatter backtracking on admission of N-word use. Okay.
Easier to screw up than you'd think.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days, and it's not the same pizza. It's not the same product. It just doesn't taste as good.
So, today we're delivering everything that went wrong with Papa John's. But before we get started,
well, I will say, Drowning Moe's, depending on context, because context is everything. I will reserve judgment on whether or not that was something he should get smacked for, or if it's something that people just need to get stop getting their panties in a bunch about it. But even in a board meeting, the context of the word use matters. No matter how much people may try to say otherwise, context 100% matters. And granted, I don't know if they're going to go over the context of his usage. We'll find out.
Started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other troubled eateries you would like to hear about next. Okay, time for a slice of Weird History.
Oh god, that's scary. Oh, that freaked me the fuck out. Did that freak anybody else out?
You would like to hear about next. Okay?
This is disturbing. This disturbs me. No. Okay, then maybe I'm the asshole. Okay, maybe I'm just the... Fine then. Okay. Fine.
Time for a slice of Weird History. In the American chain foods industry,
Wait, who was that within the Big Five? I recognize a couple. Domino's, yes. Papa John's, yes. Caesar's, yes. My favorite of the bunch, by the way. Pizza Nut and Hunt Brothers Pizza. I have never heard of this pizza company ever. Either I've been to use the word no matter what, or no one should get to use it all. Alex, that is the point that I have made before in a previous video. Yeah, exactly, Kaneko. I have no fucking clue who this is. Oh, it's gas station pizzas. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, and Alex, I have made that exact same point before. Is that you cannot say that word is racist. And you cannot also say it is a word that can only be used by one ethnicity or one race. Because it doesn't work. If you want to call a word or a term racist, that means nobody should use it. It's not a good for me, not for ye situation. I've said that before and I will continue to say it. Now granted, I will not say the word because I personally consider it to be an offensive word, and I would not use it even in the joking context. But again, that's my personal choice. If people,
I said what you said before and I got flamed for it.
Becky, I'm sure if people have responded to me, I don't think I've seen any responses. I probably could get flamed for it too, but that's the fact. If black people can use the N-word, flagrantly, and they use it in their fucking music and Hollywood all the goddamn time, and it's totally fine, and nobody says anything about it, but if someone who is not black says it, and it instantly, regardless of the context that you're using it, say if they use the word in the same way a black person would use it, and they immediately get flamed for being racist? No. No. You're wrong. Point blank, you're wrong, and you are being racist to say that. It is either it's a racist term and should never be used, or it's not a racist term unless you use it in a racist context. Otherwise, if you do not use the word in a racist context, it is not racist. It's one or the other, it cannot be both. Point blank. Again, this is not a good for me, not for ye situation. Yeah, Xanax, I agree. I don't like the word. I do not use the word. Because I find it, regardless of the format, I am uncomfortable hearing it or saying it. And so I don't use it, and I don't like when other people use it, regardless of context. But that has to be a generalized thing. It cannot be just, okay, yeah, if a black person says it, they're fine because they're black. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Or it shouldn't work that way, let me put it that way. And it's... I don't think that if a non-black person uses it in the exact same way, you cannot call them racist, because that is you being racist in return. That is my belief. That is my opinion.
In the American chain foods industry, the people are represented
love
by
Little
5
Caesars,
separate
Drowning
yet
Mouse.
equally important pizza places: Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Domino's, Papa John's, and Hunt Brothers. Cue the Law and Order sound. Pizza Hut is the
I don't
oldest
eat a
of the big
Bobcat,
5.
that's why I don't use it.
Dating back to 1958, it lays claim to being the first big chain pizza place. Little Caesars was up and running.
Hang on. Alex, I used once in a Kai game. It was a game of zombies, and the guy was bitching that I didn't revive him immediately. Started calling me slurs, which is turned on Mike, telling him to quit bitching. Alex, fair point. I mean, fair point there.
Just a year later, in '59, and Domino's appeared on the scene right after that in 1960. Papa John's and Hunt Brothers, by comparison, got
Domino's
something
kind
of a late start, opening their
Domino's
doors
is
in
okay.
1984 and
I
1991
much prefer Caesars over
respectively.
Domino's.
But while they've all achieved commercial success at the highest levels, the Big Five were
Then, Patriot USA, thank you for the follow.
not created equally. Each has a unique and special power, like characters in an anime. Pizza Hut, for example,
I love
offers a
Caesars.
sit-down dining
I love
experience.
Caesars.
Domino's is world famous for their speedy delivery service. Papa John's is made with allegedly
Atanashi, we are watching the quote-unquote downfall of Papa John's Pizza, which I was unaware of. So, should be interesting. I have not ran into a pizza brand I do not like. Hey, Patriot Pizza USA? Fair point, exactly. Like, all of these pizza brands are fine. My preference is definitely Little Caesars. Papa John's, I would have just said, okay. Papa John's was okay. Kanito, I have not had cinnamon bread. I have not had anything from Domino's in a very long time. And Seamuson, thank you for the gifted. Yeah, I have not had Domino's since I moved to Canada. I had it in the United States years ago, so it has been years since I've had Domino's. I can't, Kanito. I don't have a Domino's here. I have no Domino's anywhere close to me. So, I can't. I'm sorry.
Domino's is world famous for their speedy delivery service. Papa John's is made with allegedly better and more expensive.
Pop quiz, chat. Anyone know why Domino's no longer does 30 minutes and it's free? Anybody know? Anybody know why they got rid of it? Anything? Correct. Because drivers were getting in accidents trying to haul ass to the customer before the 30 minutes is up. Yep. I was just curious if you guys knew. No, Johnny Mose, it wasn't because they lost money. It's because their drivers were driving like bats out of hell to try to make that 30 minutes. Because I thought I heard something about if the driver didn't make it in time, they got dinged somehow, and it couldn't even be monetarily. I can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. So, I can't remember if the drivers got punished in some way. Did they get fired, Tysel, or did they get fined? That was the question. I don't know if they got fired or if they got fined. Yeah, so they probably started with a fine, and after so many times they got das Boot. Yep.
Expensive ingredients. And Little Caesars is crazy cheap. That's why their mascot is a deranged Roman emperor. As for Hunt Brothers, they placed their locations mostly in convenience stores across the country, technically making them the single biggest pizza chain in the United
Holy
States.
fuck!
If you like.
Reef. Fuck balls, Batman. Let me try and do that. Look at this. Look at where they are. Holy shit. This is more concentrated than fucking Starbucks. I honestly think this is more, granted, it is in a much more limited location, limited part of the map, but this is more concentrated than fucking Starbucks is. Holy shit.
if you like gas station pizza. And with all that in mind, it's time to take a closer look at old Papa John.
I love Crazy Bread. Fucking love Crazy Bread.
The story of Papa John's Pizza begins back in the old country of Jeffersonville, Indiana. It all started in 1984 when a 23-year-old John Schnatter sold his 1971
Oh, and by the way, for my Canadian brethren and sisterhood, I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I'm reasonably sure that Little Caesars has a Canadian off-branch called Pizza Pizza. I am almost positive that Pizza Pizza in Canada is a part of Little Caesars. Now, Little Caesars has moved into Canada. I have seen actual Little Caesars in Canada. But I'm reasonably sure Pizza Pizza is part of Little Caesars. Because the name itself, I'm not sure if Little Caesars trademarked Pizza Pizza as part of their marketing, but the pizza tastes just like Little Caesars. So for Canadians, if you don't have a Little Caesars near you, see if you have a Pizza Pizza near you. I bet you might.
Chevy Camaro Z28 to buy some used pizza-making equipment. He installed that equipment in a broom closet at the back of a local business called Mixed Lounge, which, as it happens, was owned by his father. Schnatter had worked in pizza places since he was 15 and had noticed that local places tended to make better pizza with fresher, higher-quality ingredients. Franchised chains, however, were changing the whole business and making delivery more efficient than ever at the expense of quality. Sure, Domino's may get here in 30 minutes or less, but it's still Domino's. Looking to combine.
Okay, I have heard this story from major chains all the time. All the time. This is the same old story for literally every restaurant that turns into a franchise. Every single restaurant that turns into a franchise says, oh, the franchise, they sacrifice quality for volume and speed. So we're going to do it better with fresh ingredients and so on and so forth. And it starts off really great. It starts off great with the fresh ingredients and so on and so forth. The minute they start expanding, all of that we were committed to fresh ingredients and everything like that goes out the window, because now all of a sudden, shock of shock, they realize you can't do fresh ingredients and assembly line at the same time. It doesn't work. The only way to do high volume is to change up from fresh ingredients. Yeah, that was their main marketing, but I guarantee you they didn't use fresh ingredients because financially, from a financial and from a time consumption standpoint, it's not viable. Not with a chain like this. You can't do fresh and make a pizza in 5 minutes like these guys can do. Or 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. It doesn't fucking work. But you hear this with every single small restaurant that ends up turning into a chain. Every single one of them. It's the same story.
Find the best features of each model, Schnatter made his pizzas with the kind of ingredients you'd expect to find at a small local place, with service more like a chain, and people took note. His pizzas became so popular so quickly, by the following year he was able to rent an adjoining space just for his new pizza business, Papa John's. People dug it, and by the end of that same year, Schnatter would already have 4 additional locations in towns nearby. He was on his way to becoming a pizza baron, and in 2009, he would track that Camaro down and buy it back, presumably with its weight in pepperoni. Within 7 years of opening his first location, Schnatter would franchise over 100 more, and in 1993, Papa John's would go public, raising tens of millions for further expansion. By the beginning of the aughts, there would be over 1,000 locations in the U.S. alone. A lot of that success came because Papa John was a true innovator. In fact, Schnatter himself whipped up the first batch of Papa John's now famous garlic dipping sauce. Included with every pizza, Papa John's dipping sauce is often credited with kicking off the now fairly ubiquitous practice of including dipping sauces with pizza. And while the first online order...
I never understood that. for anyone who likes using dipping sauces with pizza, fair game. If you like it, it's fine. I never understood why you would include dipping sauce with a pizza. The pizza, like, you think it was to cover the brand crust? Like, if I'm getting a pizza, I'm not dipping the fucking pizza into a sauce. I'm not. It's like, I'm ordering a pizza because that's what I want. You know, like, okay, Canito, if you're saying, like, it's for, like, after you've polished off the pizza proper and you take the crust and dip that in, like it's a breadstick, okay. Then I absolutely buy that. I absolutely buy that as a good reason for it. So not the slice. Okay. Things that yeah, excuse me. I had Papa John's years ago, and I don't remember there being a dipping sauce at the time. So you came in a time with no context. Direct Kaiser, we're talking about the downfall of Papa John's, and they were just discussing the dipping sauce that's included with pizza. And chat is educating me on how people would use the dipping sauce to dip their crust after finishing off the pizza proper, which is something that is okay. It's not an angle I considered.
Before pizza was technically placed at a Pizza Hut in
And
1994,
breadsticks.
it would be
And
Papa
breadsticks.
John's that became the first chain pizza place to have a nationwide online ordering system in 2002. It probably seems weird to some of you younger viewers, but back in the day, if you wanted a pizza, you had to call a place on the telephone and talk to a human being. Ugh. And Papa John's, for better or worse, is the place most responsible for changing all of that. No one likes talking on the phone anyway.
Ow.
If you're running a national chain of fast food franchises, you're going to need a mascot, like a clown who sells burgers or a chihuahua who sells tacos. Failing that, you need a spokesperson. And as Dave Thomas of Wendy's proved, sometimes the founder of a franchise is just the best man for the job. Like Thomas, Schnatter decided to be the face of his own brand and began to star in his own advertisements. Those ads painted Schnatter as an affable everyman who cares deeply about the quality of his pizza, and he used them to popularize the chain's simple yet effective slogan, better ingredient.
Yeah, and I once upon a time saw a brief video of Papa John giving a brief tour of his fucking mansion, and thus the everyman image died. Like, he opened his front door. I remember this. Like, he opens the front door of his mansion, and there's like a giant statue fountain, literally in this giant front foyer of his mansion. So yeah, the everyman is bullshit. Yeah. The true everyman does not need to show that they're an everyman. They simply are.
Better pizza. The campaign further distinguished Papa John's from its competitors, since neither Joey Pizza Hut nor Vinny Domino's were brave enough to appear in their own ads. It made sense for Papa John's, though, because unlike those other places, Papa John's was selling the idea that their pizzas were higher quality, and giving customers an actual face to put with the name brought a lot of validity to those claims. Over the years, Papa John's would build their advertising strategy and, indeed, the whole brand itself, almost entirely around Schnatter. It was a move that would pay off big time, right up until it didn't. Like a lot of successful people, Schnatter developed a reputation for being a tough boss with high standards. After all, quality was part of the brand. But Schnatter was also accused of taking things to extremes. He had an abrasive management style that many found alienating, and according to reports, he enjoyed.
Okay, let's see. Over time, Schnatter started to visit the main campus more often to learn what was going on. He allegedly recruited Papa John's employees to spy on their colleagues. He read workers' emails, according to two sources with knowledge of the episodes, and sometimes conducted business from disposable phones. Was he a drug dealer? Schnatter denies that he accessed emails of recruited employees to spy on each other, but admits he occasionally uses disposable phones for reasons of corporate security. Really? I wish I knew what the date of this article was.
Terrifying his employees by conducting brutal surprise inspections.
Well, and Taurus, you're right. This is another situation. If his dad hadn't had the business for him to use the space, he wouldn't have been able to. He would have been stuck in dreamland for God knows how long.
That kind of thing isn't uncommon for CEOs who pride themselves as taskmasters, but stressful surprise inspections weren't the only issue with Schnatter's management style. In 2018, Forbes reported that dozens of former and current Papa John's employees, including everyone from cashiers to board members, had told them Schnatter ran a toxic workplace that normalized
ranges from spying on his workers to sexually inappropriate conduct. Oops. Whoopsie.
Profanity and encouraged sexism. Schnatter himself was accused of sexually inappropriate conduct and routinely violating the privacy of his employees by reading their emails in an attempt to keep his behavior a secret. The fiasco resulted in a lawsuit from some of Papa John's major shareholders, but we haven't spilled all the sauce just yet. In addition to allegedly being a bad boss, Schnatter had a habit of shooting himself in the foot, figuratively speaking.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. Does anyone else think he looks hammered right here in this picture? He looks like he is absolutely fucking hammered right now. I have no problem with the last part. I always recommend the execs use disposable prepaid phones bought with cash or used for work calls. Makes corporate espionage a lot harder for your communications. Can't be tied out easily. Andrea, I can buy that, but again, that's why I wanted to know when this took place. Because if he was doing this in a more modern time, you can secure phones much more efficiently through your IT department. Not 100%, granted, it's not 100%. But cell phones can be secured much better now than they could before. Now, if this was, say, 20 years ago, sure, yes, sir, or actually, I'll say 15 years ago. Yes, I could understand the use of disposable cell phones. I could. The ability to secure a phone these days from a corporate perspective is far better. And disposable phones these days, you're still having to give up some information. When you purchase a disposable phone, you still need to register it with a name, with, email address, and so on and so forth. So, it's not quite as secure because if someone can hijack the phone, they can still potentially access the account information utilized to activate that phone. So, it is a bit more secure because you can always, especially if it's like a corporate account, you can just do it under the corporate account, and that way you're not disclosing a name or anything. But, mobile IT security is a lot more robust in the last few years than it used to be. So that's why I wanted to know. I was curious when that took place for, the context of the level of technology they had to work with.
For example, there was the time in 2008 when a Papa John's in Washington, D.C. made T-shirts that had LeBron James's jersey number on them, along with the word Crybaby. James was playing against the Washington Wizards at the time, and the franchise owner wanted to taunt him. But a lot of people felt it was kind of weird for a national pizza franchise to single out and insult a specific player. The company wound up apologizing and offering LeBron fans a special deal. And there was the time in 2012 when an employee in New York put...
Okay, I'm gonna flat out say it. I don't think this is any big deal. I honestly don't think this is any big deal. Creating a jersey with a LeBron's number on it saying "Crybaby." Far worse things have been said by fans themselves. I don't think this is all. If this is them supporting their team versus, versus, if this is supporting them, I don't know. Maybe he didn't, but this is no big deal. It's not. And it actually served its purpose. It drew attention to the brand. It absolutely drew attention to the brand. So, it worked.
LeBron fans a special deal. And there was the time in 2012 when an employee in New York put a racial slur on a customer's receipt. The store's manager explained that
when Min-hee Cho, a 24-year-old Korean American, received the receipt from her in-store order, her name was listed as blankety blank Cho. Damn. Okay, well, it's blurred out. Does anyone know the context? Because, like, I don't, this is back in 2012, so this wasn't in the current state of I'm gonna shit myself over everything and call everything racist.
12 when an employee in New York put a racial slur on a customer's receipt. The store's manager explained that sometimes...
Is it the CH blank blank K word? Yeah, they just had the person trying to use the CH blank blank K slur. Okay. Fair enough. That's what I was wondering. And I will say 2012, 2024, 2000, and even before, yeah, that's a racist word. It is. And this is a case where no one uses this word. Even Asian individuals do not use this word when they refer to one another. They never do. This is a word that is universally deemed racist. It is. No one should use it, and the people whom it is aimed at do not use it ever in any context. So, this is an example of what I was talking about from earlier. This is how the other word should be treated. If it's to be considered racist, it should be treated in the exact same way as this one. Can't have a double standard.
Sometimes employees used racial slurs as shorthand to identify customers when it was busy. That's not the defense you think it is.
I'm sorry, what? They use terms like that to identify people because it is a busy restaurant. So this manager, Jerome, just tried to say racism is okay. If Papa John had any kind of integrity, Jerome and the employee would be gone. Would be gone. Yeah, this is a defense of all time. Absolutely. Holy fuck.
It is, my guy. In 2017, Papa John's was the official pizza of the NFL. At the time, several high-profile athletes, including quarterback Colin Kaepernick, were protesting systemic racism in the U.S. by kneeling during the singing of the national anthem. And Schnatter was upset by these demonstrations. During a conference call with investors in October of 2017, an angry Schnatter blamed Papa John's low sales on the protests and the league. He claimed that the
56-year-old founder of the chain came under fire for remarks he made during the company's third quarter earnings call. He said Papa John's, a National Football League sponsored advertiser, had been hurt by the take a knee protest led by African. Okay. If your pizza brand is taking a hit because football players are taking a knee, you need to look at your fucking company and go, wait a minute, there's something else wrong here. Because the people that were offended about the taking of the knee thing, which, by the way, was a stupid stupid fucking... Not the people taking the knee part. The people that were pissed off about the taking of the knee was such a stupid fucking take on the entire situation. I fucking hated the whole controversy, quote unquote, surrounding that. Where they decided to take a knee for their protest and people got up in arms about it. And it's like, why? Why the fuck do you care? This is a goddamn football game. Stop acting like you are on some high horse. You are there to drink beer, yell obscenities, and cheer a bunch of guys giving themselves brain damage and concussions for the next 3 hours. Do not act like you are of a high moral or intellectual ground.
But what do you think of the corporate sponsors?
It's not even that. It's not even that, Jesse Bruce. Everybody that was getting pissed off about the taking of the knee are fucking hypocrites. They don't actually give a shit that these guys were taking a knee because of their stance on police brutality. Do not pretend that anyone gave a flying fuck about that. Do not give a flying fuck that anybody was actually offended. This was, okay, so what this was, you know how right now we're seeing all the DEI bullshit and people are getting offended just for the sake of being offended? And they have, like, basically their lives revolve around being offended about something for someone else from the left side? This was the right side version. Everybody getting pissed off about them taking a knee against police brutality, everybody getting pissed off was the right side of the current left side of being perpetually offended. That was this. Because the reality is, no one actually gave a fuck about this. They only gave a fuck because they're high-profile people, namely a certain someone running for, namely a certain someone who was in a certain governmental position at this point, said that he didn't like it and that he took offense to it. That's the only reason why they cared. It's the only... I'm talking in the United States, Fenris, not Canada. That's the only reason why people got offended by this. So, and again, what I've said about the people on the left doing that nowadays, this was the people on the right doing the same goddamn thing. The same fucking thing. The being offended for the sake of being offended, when the reality is they did not give a fuck. They didn't. All they cared about, it's someone told them they should be offended about it, so they said, oh yes, I should be offended. Yeah, oh, I should change that. Shit. Yeah, I stopped playing Fallout a while ago. I really should change that. Shit, I don't know if I can. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, I do. I need to change that. Where is it? Can I? I don't think I can do it while I'm engaged in stream. Yes, I can. Hang on. Oh no, it is just chatting. Okay. Okay, I thought it wasn't. Okay. Hey. Thank you, Ty. No, the title was fine, because the title says the app. Thank you, Tycel. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's what this was. This was the exact same thing that the left is doing now, being offended for the sake of being offended. That's what this was for the right. National anthem should be played at sportful events at all, since the players aren't respecting the nation when they play. The only exception should be the Olympics. Rat Bastard, I'll tell you point blank, I don't care either way, because I don't watch sports. I am not a sports person. I do not care about sports. So, I honestly don't care one way or the other. Yeah, I honestly can't really offer commentary on that. And it's, the reason why they do, we could go down a rabbit hole and the reason why they do, but I'm not going to.
Players were hurting pizza sales, and the NFL should have resolved the situation. Schnatter then terminated the sponsorship deal and had the NFL's logo removed.
Oh, it was nearly 5 months ago that Papa John's then also said, CEO said players who staged protests during the national anthem for business. The company pulled the NFL shield off its commercials during game broadcast and took the shield off its boxes. Boo fucking who? Boo fucking who? Okay, and? Again, nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. Having the NFL thing on your pizza realistically doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't. Yeah, you get more advertising in the NFL, and that's it. That's really it. Being affiliated with the NFL just gives you a bit more advertising, which can be beneficial. But yeah, so what? Who cares?
From all Papa John's advertising going forward. Schnatter's investors weren't as glib about losing a lucrative relationship with the NFL. So less than 2 months later, Schnatter would be forced to step down as CEO. He would, however, continue to be chairman of the board.
Wait, was stepped down as CEO in the wake of the controversial comments he made last month, but so I'm guessing it was during the anthem protest conversation where he used the N-word. Likely he said, we're losing money because of these N-words taking a knee. It would be my guess. Since he didn't actually say that in this video. And I've already waxed poetic, shall we say, on my feelings on that.
Later, Schnatter would be forced to step down as CEO.
Oh, he hasn't.
He would, however, continue to be chairman of the board, the company's largest shareholder, and the star of their commercials. That being the case, the company ordered him to undergo media training, to make sure he didn't say anything stupid again. That training included a role-playing exercise with marketing consultants who tested Schnatter.
The call was arranged between Papa John's executive and marketing agency Wonder Services as a role-play exercise for Schnatter in an effort to prevent future population snafus. Schnatter caused an uproar in November 2017 when he waded into debate over national anthem protests, blah, blah, blah.
On how he would respond if asked whether terminating the sponsorship meant he was siding with racists, because it was a question he might be asked in public. Schnatter responded by saying he was being unfairly singled out, claiming that Colonel Harlan Sanders of KFC fame freely used racial slurs and got away with it. Once again, that is not the defense you think it is,
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, but again, this was in reference to the meeting about the NFL stuff. This whole thing here, this was a role-playing thing that stemmed from the conversation in the NFL stuff. So it was that NFL stuff. It's just this is where he decided to double down on it for reasons that escape logical thought. Derwin Kaiser, he's an idiot. That's all that's all you need to know about his thinking. He basically became rich and thought he was untouchable. That's what it was. He thought because he got rich with his franchise, he had power. And he could say whatever he wanted.
Freely used racial slurs and got away with it. Once again, that is not the defense you think it is, Papa J. Schnatter then doubled down by reminiscing over his boyhood in...
God, look at his hair. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. Heard something. I just wanted to check on it. Fine. Look at his hair. Look at this fucking hair. Look at how fake this hair is. Oh my god. It's actually not like the thickness or anything. It's the color. Have a good night, Tysel. It's the color. Look how fake the hair color is. Oh, that is so bottle. That is so bottle color.
Indiana, and graphically described racially motivated murders that took place there. Boyhood
Wait.
offense you think
I
it
need
is,
to back that
Papa
up.
J. Schnatter then doubled down by reminiscing over his boyhood in Indiana, and graphically described racially motivated murders that took place there. According to people on the call,
Why? He's waxing poetic about racially based murders. Snatter also reflected on his life in Indiana, where he said people used to drag African Americans from trucks until he died. He apparently intended for the remarks to convey his apathy to racism. Apathy! The multiple individuals on the call found them to be offensive assertions familiar to the matter said after learning about the incident, laundry owner moved to terminate the company's. Oh, fuck. So Papa John has, for a very long time, has barely disguised his racism. He's basically been barely able to keep his racism under wraps. I mean, Atsunashi, I don't know if he was doing that, but he's basically a racist that managed to somehow avoid showcasing that for years, and now it's coming out, is what it sounds like.
Schnatter was clumsily trying to explain his opposition to racism, but he did so in the most...
No, his antipathy. Wait, antipathy? Hang on. I need it. One moment, please. Okay. I have never used antipathy before, so, okay, it does mean opposition. A deep-seated feeling of dislike or aversion. Okay. Alright, so antipathy is the correct. Okay. Yeah, I flashed my eyes over it and read it as apathy, and I read it incorrectly. It's not indifference. It's antipathy is a deep-seated rejection of it.
Defensive way possible. Schnatter apologized, but it was too late.
No. The writer got it right. The writer got this correct. Antipathy is correct. A deep-seated aversion of something. So deep-seated aversion of racism. Yeah, they were obviously using the big boy thesaurus this day.
But he did so in the most defensive way possible. Schnatter apologized.
Red bastard, when I write, I don't tend to use a lot of flowery language. If you read my books, I don't use a lot of flowery language in my writing. I tell the story, and I try to tell it in a I try to tell the story in a very entertaining way. I'm not a journalist who I have to prove that I went to Brown and got a degree or something. I write for the enjoyment of it.
But it was too late. Once the incident hit the press, he was out as chairman of the board and spokesman the very same day. His ousting would eventually result in the now infamous interview of November 2019, in which Schnatter seemed to claim that he had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. He then warned the world that a day of reckoning was soon to come, which is a thing evil sorcerers say. But in fairness, he was going to have to reckon with all those pizzas he ate. During the 1990s, Papa John's and Pizza Hut became bitter enemies, constantly attacking each other in their advertisements. But the Hut was fighting above its weight class. By some estimates, Pizza Hut saw an 8% decrease in sales, while Papa John's saw an 11% increase. When they
but we don't get to see the interview. Baby.
couldn't beat them in sales, Pizza Hut took Papa John's to court, claiming that its whole better ingredients, better pizza shtick was false advertising. Pizza Hut actually won and was awarded damages of close to $13 million, but the
Holy fuck!
Pizza Hut actually
Holy shit! Initially, a jury sided with Pizza Hut, agreeing that Papa John's claims of better sauce and dough were false or misleading. The judge ordered Papa John to stop using the better ingredients, better pizza slogan and awarded Pizza Hut $467,619 in damages. There was a drop in the bucket for Pizza Hut, but the real prize was getting Papa John's to stop using the slogan. The judge told Papa John's to stop using any materials with that slogan, pull ads, and also pay Pizza Hut $12.5 million in damages. Whoa! Okay, Ray Gun, get some rest if you're not feeling good. I'm really interested to know, Derek Kaiser, refresh your stream. It's happened for a couple people. I think it's a Twitch thing. It's a Twitch thing, so just refresh your stream. It should be fine. I would really love to know the argument of how better ingredients, better pizza would be considered false or misleading in terms of just advertising. I'd kind of be curious what that argument was.
He won and was awarded damages of close to $13 million, but the verdict was reversed on appeal, and the damages along with them. But while...
Okay, that makes sense. Appealed the verdict, arguing that the slogan was simply a matter of opinion, not to be... Yeah, this is exactly what I would think. This is exactly the argument that I would probably make. It's like, okay, this is a slogan. Obviously, better pizzas, better tasting is a matter of opinion. You can't take it as a literal fact. If you take it as a literal fact, you're a moron, which is not a legal argument. That's just a personal argument.
But while Papa John's may have won the decade-long legal battle, Pizza Hut is the franchise that ultimately came out on top. As of 2019, Pizza Hut was the #2 pizza chain in the world with sales of around $12 billion, and Papa John's was a distant fourth with sales of a mere $3.5 billion. Wonder how much of that was Schnatter binge-eating pies. After Schnatter's extremely public meltdown and subsequent firing, Papa John's stock and market share cratered. Stuck with the name Papa John's, the company has worked to erase Schnatter from its advertising and history. To that end, Papa John's has rebuilt its image around a new spokesman, a man whose name and reputation are virtually synonymous with good pizza throughout the world. Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, Shaq's not really known for pizza, but he is known for securing the bag as a spokesman, and he's a...
Wait. Shaquille O'Neal is the spokesman for Papa John's now? I didn't know that. Like, the only thing I knew Shaquille O'Neal was doing was, doing commentary on ESPN or something. He's actually the spokesperson for Papa John's? Well, I suppose the man needs a paycheck. Rainbow gifting this up, and while I didn't have the app open as prize, Ray Jupin, you're welcome. My chat is extremely generous with subs, so you're very welcome, and I hope you're enjoying the stream.
Generally well-liked figure. I mean, come on, he was in that Genie movie. No, the real one. O'Neal joined the company's board of directors in 2019 and became the face of the brand from that point on. Papa John's even introduced a new pizza in his name, the Shaq-a-Roni. Bringing in a new public face like Shaq, along with the introduction of a host of new menu items, have helped the chain start its...
Yeah, but he's not just a spokesman, he's on the fucking board. Like, they made him, they put him on the fucking board of directors too. So, holy shit.
Like Shaq, along with the introduction of a host of new menu items, have helped the chain start its comeback. Those items include things like Papa Bowls, which are pizza ingredients without the crust in a bowl. Papa Dias, essentially Papa John's version of a panini, and Papa Bites.
Yeah, no kidding,
like mini calzones. It all adds up to a Shaq-sized step in the right direction. Now, if they'd only stop putting so much damn sauce on their pizzas. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Papa John's, or is it overrated? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.
Well, Rage, I try to make it an interesting stream, and this was an interesting one. Because like I said, I had not heard about Papa John's for quite some time. And granted, Papa John's, that is a US thing for me. or it's a US thing, and I haven't been in the US for years. So I was very curious. And it's interesting what happened with that. So